sympathy.
You watching that old Mike Tyson video?
Yes.
You saw you saw that before, right?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it in a while. Time just see Mike Tyson dancing. It's just awesome.
Yeah, he wasn't made. He wasn't made to dance. You got to come over a little bit. Ah. Did you grind it out today? Did you? And today's gonna be a doozy of a topic.
No, it's not.
What's up? Hanging with the Joneses. I'm Rashad.
I'm Kesha.
All right, we're singing today. Thank you all for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you have not, you should do the thing. Hit the bell too. It's the right choice for you to make. We're trying to get our numbers up, trying to get a 500 on YouTube. If you haven't followed us on Instagram and or Facebook, go ahead and do so. Topic for today. Think about it. It's been 1 year since COVID started popping off in the States. Officially a year. And I really just want to talk about specifically like our journey and what's it been like for us and, all those things. How do you think, well, going back 1 year, like 1 year before, so last year this time, myself, I was low-key tripping. Like, I was like, yo, like, I'm not ready for this. Just the sense of actually being on lockdown, things changing, me not having to go to work, just the whole shifting of my life was it felt very traumatic for me the first 3 or 4 days until I came to my senses and then accepted what it was. How about for you?
The first I thought was like, this ain't gonna be bad. We probably overreacting. It didn't get serious for me until I was at work and they was like, one person like, shh, I just heard from like White House that stuff is about to get shut down. I was like, what? And the look in that person's eye was like a deer in headlights. I was like, oh, it's about to go down. Like, you might be serious. And then I'm like, okay, well, no, because no one said anything. But I think when they canceled school, that's when it was like, oh, this might be something. Because I never heard of them canceling school, like, to the rest of the year and not taking any standardized testing and...
Yeah, that shut the whole thing down. It was crazy. I was really, and it's funny because like last year, like I started off personally trying to vlog like almost every day. And right around, I don't know, May, I just fell off the wagon. But going back and like deleting some of the old videos off my personal IG page, I can literally see my descent. I'm like, oh man, I was like real optimistic, and it was going down and down and down, and then slowly came back up. You know what I'm saying? It was weird to watch.
And that for me also, what made it like, oh, this might be something, was that when we went to look for like toilet paper, anything like that, the aisles were clear.
Yo,
I was like,
so like, so that Friday, right? Like that Friday, I took off work. I didn't go to work that day, and people were saying like work was crazy because everybody, mom and dad was calling up trying to get the kids out of school. It was just real crazy. Like one of the teachers who doesn't work there anymore, I really feel like she probably had COVID because like she was super sick, coughing, and like not being. I mean, she was already older anyway, and then she like randomly was like, I had to take over because I have pneumonia.
But it could have been pneumonia.
Nah, I want pneumonia.
And that's the thing too. Ever since COVID, like you can't have any other illness but COVID. So you see somebody sneezing, it's like, oh my gosh, they got COVID. It's like it is allergy season.
Yeah,
people had allergies before COVID.
But sneezing and nasty coughs are two different things. Yeah, so like that happened, and then as I'm like picking up, our children, and you was like, yo, I want to go to the store and find like, because we were low on toilet paper. So like legitimately, it just was our time to get some. And I had to go to CVS and individually get rolls of toilet paper just so we can kind of manage through until, BJ stocked back up again. And it was so surreal.
But even when, it was funny when, it's not funny now, but even when toilet tissue come in, it's getting called, it's like, hey, it's going to hit at midnight, so make sure to be there. It became like a secret society to get toilet tissue.
Yo, toilet tissue, gloves. At one point, it was hard to find masks, wipes, any sort of cleaning item. Chicken.
I don't know why. And now we're still looking for chicken. So
couldn't find ain't no wing pieces around. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because that stimmy here ain't gonna do with COVID.
No.
It's inconsequentially, it does have to do with COVID because of the stimulus. Yeah, ease up on the chicken, y'all. It's not that. It's okay.
But a year later, I still kind of feel like we're in the same place. Meaning that when it comes to COVID, it's still speculation of how and where and what damage it can do. We still having the same speculation. We having the vaccine, which is still up in the air if it works. So I feel like even though, we have a vaccine for it now, and I think the symptoms are more clear if you have COVID to some, because there's some, I have known that some people test positive for COVID and had no symptoms at all.
I really feel we are back where we started, because for me, we were leaving school and now I'm back in school almost 365 days to the date. So there's a real oddity for me, knowing that, we have to go back into this thing with no real resolution on what actually brought us out of school. Yeah. And even something and it's really weird because even CDC is y'all can restrict guidelines for kids in classrooms. Y'all gotta have them 3 feet apart, not 6 feet apart. And I'm like, for what? You know what I'm saying? Y'all been pretty hard and fast on this, and now all of a sudden y'all trying to shift on this.
Yeah, I think it's causing maybe more of a scare for some people. Now all this happened. It's like we're trying to go back to normal, but we know this is out here, and should we be going back to normal? I'm still hesitant. I'm still pretty much in the house. I do a few things, but not much. I'm really limited to what I do.
Yeah, same.
I think I maybe went to 2 restaurants where we ate in, but I'm really I still don't trust it. And my children are like, can we do extracurricular activity? I'm like, nope. Because they want to play sports and stuff, which I don't understand how you say 3 feet apart when you're playing a sport. So I'm like, that's not possible. So I'm like, mm-mm. And then we have children. Well, quite a few of us in our family. My daughter has asthma. So if she catch something, it's going to be, her immune system is already a compromise. So I'm just like, no, I know. Hopefully, I was hoping summertime this would be over with, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't anticipate that it would be this long.
No, I think that was the hardest part for me to really kind of reconcile. I was like, yo, this is going to be a while. And even now, how we had just that regular COVID-19, and now all the mutations and variants of it is really starting to infiltrate. And just like any other thing, if you have like a disease like this, it's going to mutate. And then what happens? You have vaccines that don't have some of the vaccines may not have said effectiveness for mutation. So it's this is a very ongoing thing, and I think a lot of us have forgotten how serious this thing really is. And in an effort to get back to normal, trying to downplay how this can really affect your life.
And see, that's what I had trouble by the schools open up, because just because there's a vaccine out there, the children don't qualify for the vaccine.
No, you can't be in a vaccine.
And be a child. So you open schools because of vaccination, but that's the population that don't get vaccine. They can't. And then the vaccine, even on top of that, if you have some certain medical conditions, they recommend you not to get it because they don't know the side effects. You know, they didn't test people with certain disorders to see if the vaccination works for them. So, and I'm always, you know, you call me, I'm always believing the conspiracy theorists. Anytime the government for me is pushing to do something, I'm kind of like, whoa, why? Why? And especially since our last president, it made me less trusted. So anytime the government is pushing anything hard, it all makes me stop and think like, why?
Yeah, a lot of that goodwill, I feel like that was built up over the years is pretty much gone. Mm-hmm. So they had the trust or lack of trust thereof in the government. It's a reality that a lot of people live in. Of course, being a black person anyway, you know, we don't. Of course, we have a very sordid history with our government, and not to be all on the conspiracy theorist train, but like those are just realistic things that you have to think about when doing anything.
Mm-hmm. And even when they shows like a black person, it's like, no, she developed, like, if that ain't you know what I mean, I feel like you're trying to convince us, and that made me even more hesitant.
Yeah,
I can't get them because I can't get the vaccination. It's not advised for me to get it.
Yeah, and I'm just I'm not getting it. So it's interesting how that part of it has played out. But the funny thing was, like, in the beginning, we like looking at the narrative of it, not talking about COVID, just like how people were trying to spend how you spend your time was like, yo, like, y'all come out of this, y'all should be having your skills, y'all should do this, yada yada. And like a lot of it, like, I was like, I understand. But some people was like, yo, like, they just trying to manage the day, trying to get through, you know, being in isolation, being alone, and having to deal with not having people around. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people have a lot of people dying. Yeah, a lot of people deal with a lot of deaths, and, you know, actually having to not have proper closure as it's been deemed in our society. Mm-hmm. You know, like no real funerals, no real gathering of people together, not being able to mourn familiarly, you know, so those
morgues and stuff being backed up.
Yeah, you know,
I never heard of that.
Yeah, you know, so things of that nature.
Shortage.
Yeah, that happened too. The coin? Yeah. I don't know, y'all was eating coins or something at that point, but yeah, definitely there was a coin shortage too. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of things that were.
I was like, this is straight revelations.
Yeah,
this is straight biblical days. And then when some areas started getting filled with bugs, and I was like, oh, tell me. Is this,
because we had murder hornets too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This was a lot. It was a lot of stuff going on last year. On top of that, you know, Trump. And you know,
him saying it's not real.
And him, like downplaying the whole thing, and then he had COVID. And the White House, and the whole staff and everybody got it. It was like that was.
And then the riots.
Oh yeah, not riots, civil uprising. All right, that's not
riots. I'm talking about when they stormed the.
I'm talking about in the summertime, like with the civil rights. You talking about the Capitol?
Capitol, when they stormed the car, that's a riot.
Capitol riots. Yeah.
But all this, I said, this is going down in history. Definitely, this is part of history, and so many people, even ages, like I might went through some stuff, but I never went through this.
It just was so much at one time, and even shifting to how. During the midst of the pandemic, we had, you know, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and all these people, like, you know, all this police brutality, all that stuff. All that stuff happened in the midst of it. Yeah. So all these things happened, then led to what? A whole entire world having black folks' backs. Which was like so unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? But was so needed because I really feel like the whole George Floyd thing was like our generation's what's your man name that
Rodney King?
No, before that, like in the 50s, the dude, his
Emmett Till?
yes, yeah, that was our Emmett Till, because before then, nobody was seeing the brutality of the South. You know what I'm saying? Until they photographed it, so people had that image.
But
you know what I'm saying?
There was a lot.
But still, but now, when we saw that, man, like, you know what I'm saying, 8 minutes or 46 seconds, 9-minute video, when they saw just the inhumanity of it, then it was like, oh man, like they really doing this to y'all. Like, yeah.
To me, it started with Trayvon Martin, and then we start seeing more and more and more. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that police brutality has went up. I think it's just being exposed. I think it's all thanks to social media and some of these other platforms. Things are being exposed now, so I don't think it went up. It's always been there. Now, just people, it's being exposed. We getting to see it on TV.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just the absence of a visual can say, ah, man, it's not that bad. Can you always have people think like, that it's not happening like that. But when you give somebody a visual of a thing that's happening, there is no denying that. You know what I'm saying? So that's yeah. But whether you want to deny it or not, like, hey, it's right here. Like the thing happened. Now you need to deal with it.
You know how people are denying.
Oh
it.
Yeah. They can spin it however they want it, but like because of that,
and the courts are denying it. So yeah. But I think to this year, 2020 to here, it was a chance that you really had to mind your mental health. Because if you did, it's like if you took your eye of it too quick, you could slip.
Yeah.
Because it's like when one thing was, honestly, it felt like when one thing was happening, here's another one, and here's another one, here's another. It was like, then the storms and, here in other countries, it was like, good grief, this is a lot. Was it Texas having the snow? It was like, oh my gosh. And if you don't foster trying to make sure that you're okay, you can easily slip in depression. Dare I say even maybe being suicidal?
Yeah, that was my main thing. Like, I was very fortunate to had already been in therapy, and that transitioned really well because of those first couple sessions I had. I was like, I needed that. I needed to be able to talk to an actual professional other than you to really get me on track with what I could and what I could not do with the reality of the situation, and just be able to manage my emotions through it. And I know a lot of times people we want to discredit that as men, but we are very emotional beings as well. Just because we manifest those emotions in different ways, they're still emotions. And I had to really be able to manage the change of being first at home with my kids all day. Then about 3 weeks later, being at home all day with my kids and my wife. And then have to manage working at home with all these people in the house, and then working and going to school. And that was a very dynamic shift in our family culture. But the thing that I appreciated,
and then going back to also the fact that we couldn't go nowhere. Nothing was open.
Yes. The lack of an external release was a very real thing. I couldn't go to the gym anymore. You know what I'm saying? Which was like a very major part of my everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Couldn't really see nobody. Couldn't really travel like that. So it was really
going to the store just to go outside. Like when you was a kid, like, I'm gonna go to the store just so I can go outside.
Yo, where you going, man? I'll be back. I need a break. So it was crazy. But it's crazy because, Kesha, like, for us, we managed by the sheer grace of God to really thrive through that. And this is kind of what my concern is with. Aside from, I want everything to get back to some sort of normality. But the thing that I kind of have, the thing that I am reticent to is how what we establish, how can we make sure we keep that up? You know, because like we've had time, like we basically do a lot of things that we couldn't have done outside of that. Even something simple as going on walks. You know what I'm saying? And it's really not about the walk, even though you should get out and exercise and you know, really breathe in outside air. But having time to talk, decompress, plan, encourage. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things we did while we were walking, like outside of me is like, man, I don't want to. I want to keep on doing that because I feel like it's a very vital part of our of us being able to actually maintain our marriage and everything and really sustain. And I don't want to. I'm already missing that right now. You know what I'm saying? By being at work.
By the time he gets home, I'm on to the next session and we might not really connect.
I might not see you till like 8, 9 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? So that transition back into normalcy.
And by that time, it's time to get the kids ready and get them off to bed. And if there's any homework and all that stuff, it is. But that's the thing I felt about this whole quarantine and COVID. It was no more any distractions.
Yeah.
There was no distraction. There was no, I can't do this because I gotta do this. You know, all those at least for us, all those distractions was moved. It wasn't like I can't walk because I'm doing this or I can't do this because those distractions wasn't there. I had nothing but time.
And then we got stuff done. You know, like last year for us, I mean, we really made some major strides into like, you know, debt reduction, better credit, you know, just outlook on how we feel about things. And a lot of that was because we had the actual time to sit down and really think about putting together a plan and really be on the same page and coalesce on a lot of things that we just really weren't seeing like eye to eye on.
Because and don't get me wrong, I have family members that we lost to COVID. Don't wish COVID, if I could do it back, I wish COVID wasn't a thing. I wish it wasn't a vaccinations or anything needed because there's no such thing as COVID. But looking at that, before COVID, both of us off at work, not seeing each other back until 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it wasn't really much time to plan. Like all of it was planning by phone. And the time you get home, well, I had to do this, or I had to do this.
Well, like, yo, like I'm just tired. Like, I love you, but I don't really feel like talking or dealing with you right now.
And then when we had cut days. We have days that we cut work, like we in school, just to hang out. But then those days, since they were so few, we wanted to take it to just enjoy us.
Yeah.
So we didn't really talk about
life, talk about, managing finances and all the other crap. It was just like, yo, like, isn't it good just to chill today? Like, yeah, it is. And that would be it.
Yeah. And of course, the weekends we try to dedicate to our children. The weekends, so they know that it's usually them, so we're doing something, an activity or something with the children. But before that, there's no cut days. So even the activities for the children, it came from Friday to Monday through Sunday.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I hope that we can really manage in regards to like just us, because like what you don't want to have is, and this is for any couple or any relationship, friendship you have, like you don't want to establish a lot of great things, a lot of great norms, and then something happens and then those things go by the wayside, and then you'll find yourself back and falling into old bad patterns. And like I just don't really, like, I'm really low-key fearful of that, because it could just easily happen, because you just going about your normal day, and we don't want to have those things creep up and cause a wedge, or just you frustrated for no reason, don't really understand why, and then you be like yo, like what's going on? Like, I don't even know. Like, then we got to sit here and explore and talk, and then it's just it'd be a lot, So like that part of it, I'm really trying my best to mentally be like very acutely aware of.
And I think I'm thankful for working from home. I do not want to go in nowhere. However, when I work from home, I work harder.
You do.
Work hard more. I work harder when I'm working from home than if I go into an office. And with that is trying to, I think anytime you live out of balance, because it is imbalance. Now I'm, like we say, might work to 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. So that's an imbalance going on. So what I try to do, not always the greatest, but I try to do only 2, 3 times a week. I have my schedule when I'm working that late. So Mondays, Fridays, and the weekends, I don't schedule anything. So that's just kind of like our time, the children time, And this time I'm taking vacation when they take vacation. So those are the things. I haven't taken vacation in
3-4 years.
Yeah. Usually I work. So I think those are things too. And I think during this period, these are the times to learn those skills and those building blocks. So when something else come along, you have those blocks to stand on.
Very true. I think that's like the kind of the lesson through all of this. It's like, y'all can grind it out through hard times, and really focus on what's important, delete what's not, and then really, keep grinding.
Especially people with our skin tone been grinding out for a long time.
Yeah, always pressing towards the mark for the prize. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. All that being said, like if you had a
episode is this? You didn't say.
It's episode 46 or 47. I don't know. Either way, yeah. I really hope you guys. If you guys had a year too, let us know in the comments. Like really talk about like how it was, so we can go back and really have a conversation. And if you have ways that you can encourage others that are that may be dealing with it or like really dealing with it rough, like tell them how you manage yourself, Like I really feel like we need to be a community that helps, encourages, and uplifts one another. Like we can go much more further if we do this thing together. All right, like, share, subscribe, guys. Justice League Zack Snyder Cut review is up. Me and Tony did that, and if you even know anything about DCEU, it's a definite must watch. I see you shaking your head. Of course, me and Dez are doing Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. That review is up as well. I didn't do a vlog yesterday because I just forgot, and I was out all day. So we're back at it next Saturday. That's all I got. Anything else? All right, guys. Next time.